Hi everybody, I'm here today with Robin and with Kelly. I want to thank you for having me over. Lady, how are you doing today?
Wonderful,
Very good.
Kelly and Robin, I mean, they have quite a bunch, and I actually did work with Robin in the past. It's the first time I'm meeting Kelly, so let's start first with what is your let's first tell me about how many animals you have at your house.
3 cats and 1 dog.
3 cats and 1 dog, okay. And so, for the most part, are they all friends?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's what we're going to talk about then.
Yeah.
So, we've got Marshall's the dog, and we've got Frederick the cat. What are the other 2 cats' names?
Patrick and
Oh
Baby.
yeah, Patrick we met. Oh yeah, and Baby. Is Baby shy?
Yeah.
Okay, Baby's shy. She'll be back here. Okay, so what I'm seeing is specifically with Marshall the dog and Frederick the black cat. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, absolutely.
So these 2 dogs that they have, the dog and the cat that they have, they were rescues, and so this is what I'm feeling right now is they're both vying for alpha status. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I use a term, whether I'm talking to a human or whether I'm talking about an animal, it's called poking the snake. It's like a person that knows the exact right buttons to push, and so when I'm going to just say on camera, it's never as good as what's in my head, so I do the best I can. But when I see Marshall and Frederick, it's like there's this line there, okay? And Marshall tries to act perhaps a little braver than he really is. Close your ears, Marshall. And Frederick knows this and he senses this. So it's like, I'm going to poke at you, Marshall. I'm going to poke at you. And Marshall won't move. He won't defend himself. Okay.
He won't.
Does Marshall ever, does he ever put himself forward?
Oh, yeah.
And what does Frederick do? Smack him? Because Frederick shows me he's doing something to him to say, okay, here's our standoff. You're coming towards me. Now this is going to be my cue to back up. So what does that mean to you? Okay.
We often feed Marshall out here on the
Okay.
floor. He finishes his food, or maybe he leaves a little bit, he walks away. Frederick will come over and investigate his food bowl.
Okay.
Marshall goes crazy. He'll go over there, he'll just bark, he'll as big as he can.
Okay.
And Frederick will sometimes he'll get into
Okay.
it.
So just, for, I don't know if you've heard this term, but also for the viewers, it's called resource guarding.
Oh.
Resource guarding can be anything from food to a toy to a human. Okay,
It happens
so
with toys.
even though Marshall may have been finished with his meal, that's not the point. The point is now Frederick's coming into his territory. Hey, wait a minute, Frederick, what if I wasn't finished? And so now he has to protect it, and so Frederick, then they get into the fight. So one thing, because there's some things we might not be able to cover, but I do follow up with emails about techniques, because resource guarding can go one of 2 ways. It can be where eventually they just will back away, but if it escalates, it doesn't matter the species. It can happen really quickly. So we do want to avoid any real aggression so no one does get hurt. So when that happens, how do you react? Do you go to Frederick? How do you handle that situation when they get into it, the resource guarding?
Yelling.
Yes.
Yelling
I'm
to get him
like,
to stop.
hey.
Okay. In animal language, that's like barking and meowing really loudly to them. They have no clue what that means.
Okay.
Okay. So hey means nothing. No. Away. Hey. Hey what? See what I'm saying? Okay. Hay is for horses.
Yeah, there you go.
So this is where it's a little harder for cats, and that's why I tell people I think that as a communicator, it is easier to modify cats because I can hear them. But we'll talk very clearly. There's a great book called The Culture Clash by Gene Donaldson. I don't recommend. I have some things you can talk about that. But you want to be careful when you use the tone of voice with certain things, and unless it's getting really aggressive, you don't want to break it up. Because you want them to start to say, okay, we're going to just separate peacefully. If they're getting aggressive, you do want to go in and block them.
That's when we
Yeah.
intervene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to use no.
Okay.
And it's firm. No.
Okay.
See? Marshall's not on camera, but he heard no. Hey. Hay's for horses. Okay, so besides the food issues, does Frederick, does he horn in on anything else in Marshall's?
Yeah, well,
Excuse me.
attention?
Because I see attention, I see bedding. Okay, I see
All
and
of it.
human. So
All of it.
Marshall, Frederick just wants everything.
He does.
Okay,
They both want to be on my lap when I'm sitting in my chair over there.
but see what I see in my head is it's like let's pretend you're Marshall and you're Frederick, okay, and I'm holding you. It's like no, I want you, I want you,
Yeah.
I want you. That's what I'm saying.
That's what they do.
Yeah. So rather than we can try this. Rather than, let's say, for example, you have a hand on Marshall and a hand on Frederick, you have one, you have the other, and then you switch. Like you pay attention to, it's just Marshall, it's just Frederick.
Well, Frederick's not attached to me, so he doesn't
not.
really.
Well, then you can pet Marshall while
No,
she's petting you.
yeah, he will do that.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah. Because the thing, it's just like, this is the thing I tell people, think about like children, because that's basically what we're dealing with this, animals that are acting like children.
Yeah.
And my biggest thing is, and this is for the audience, is the reason why I work so hard with behavioral issues is it's estimated that 40 to 60% of animals are surrendered for behavior, which in most cases is very simple. And again, there's a lot of easy techniques, but we do always want to make clear on tone of voice and the words. It's like, there's a guy, that's why I mentioned Brandon McMillan, Lucky Dog. Put him on your list. It's the 7 basic commands: sit, stay, come, off, heel, no, down. They have to be very clear and the hand signals are clear. Okay? But Marshall's talking a lot about his bedding in relation to Frederick. So does that mean anything to you?
Well, yeah, because it was just like, last night? Where Robin had laid out a nice little comforter, Afghan for him, and Marshall will lay there, and Robin went in, and Frederick was there, and Marshall was cowering in the bathroom on a rug. And so Robin came in and said, "You're not going to believe this. Marshall's in the bathroom, Frederick's in where he likes to lay."
Okay, so you didn't actually see how Frederick got Marshall out of the bed? You just came in and saw that now
It's possible that Freddie just took possession of the
and
bed.
just gave him the eye?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sure.
Yeah,
Like
'cause- yeah. Freddie,
I don't think Frederick has to do much. I think he just
No.
gives him the eye.
That is all he has to do.
he
Yeah.
comes up and he'll just tower over Marshall
Yeah.
and stare at him until he.
Yeah, because like I don't know if you had parents like that, but my dad had the look.
Oh, my dad had to look.
Anybody that has a parent that had the look, that's what Frederick's like. I don't need to do anything, Karen. I just got to give him a look. Okay.
It works with us too.
It's never as fun as in my head. Oh, yeah, he has this look.
He has this, yeah.
Okay, so see, he's like a little too alpha. But this is, I want to go into this. But what happens is, Marshall did not stand up for himself.
No, he doesn't.
So this is the thing I'm explaining to people, to you, is that I've encountered this many times. If an animal acts like prey and continues to act like prey, Frederick is going to take advantage of that. So, not in as much detail, what I explained to the dog acting like prey, you are not being disrespectful by saying, I'm going to give you a look back. This is my bed. This is my food. Posture a little bit, because once the predator realizes, it's like playing cat and mouse. Once the predator realizes he's no longer prey, he will eventually start to back off. But then you're saying he's cowering in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So
He's just choosing to sleep in the bathroom and not on the bed where he used to sleep, because now Freddie's in his bed.
all the time now?
Almost, the last few nights.
Well, you know what happened though? When I went into the bathroom and I saw that he was in the bathroom, he seemed scared. He actually came up and he sat right next to my leg.
That's what I want to address, but we'll talk about that more in emails. But this is one thing, and this is for you and also for the audience, is there's a thing called scent exchange, okay? Like, back in the day when farms, when animals were small enough, they would actually rub them together. so they all smelled alike. You see, once you smell alike,
Oh.
okay, you're part of the tribe. So what you do is this, is if there's not a towel on the bed, you take like 2 or 3 towels, and first you rub and get all your scent all over yourselves, then you rub Marshall, then you rub Frederick, whatever, anybody you can rub. And those scented towels go, in the bedding, in a food area, in a general, like let's say you guys are sitting here watching television, because eventually when all the smells start to mingle, it's okay, now you're part of the tribe. But it's also going to tell Frederick, hey, wait a second, this smells too much like everybody else. So he's not going to feel like he owns it as much. Make sense?
Okay.
And if it doesn't smell just like him, Freddie won't be as interested in
because
claiming it.
Because all the scents are commingled. That's what I'm saying, is because they both trust you if your smell is on that, and then the other animal smell, it's like, okay, well then if my parents put it here, it's safe.
Okay.
It's safe.
Okay.
And unless they get really, really dirty, you don't wash those towels, you shake them out. If you have to wash them, you start all over again. But that is, like in certain cultures, for example, it is true. It's like people they allow themselves to have body odor. You're part of the tribe.
Right.
So scent exchange and what they call scent soaking is really important when you're integrating animals.
Okay.
But another thing we talk about is the remedies. Robin, I think you said you are familiar with remedies, flower remedies and such.
Yes, and rescue remedy. And
Okay, rescue remedies. Because when I'm working on a behavioral issue, in like, let's say for example, like in human terms, let's say a person has experienced, a great deal of loss or anxiety. Sometimes you need a little medication, for the brain to kind of calm down to receive the messages. We do the same thing. Like in this case, obviously medication is not necessary. Sometimes it is. But the remedies allow the animal's brain to just kind of calm down a little bit while we're going through that process. So if you have remedies in the house, you can tell me what you have and we can kind of make a concoction, and then we do a follow-up and see what's happening. Okay. So, because we really do want to be careful of the resource guarding, because I've seen it happen. It happens real quick, and it's hard to get in, even a cat and a small dog. And the other thing is, okay, thank you, Brian. Now I talk to my guys, I say thank you. If they really are, like, let's say for example, they really are entangled, you go in with legs and feet. You go in with hands, because see, they are totally in that moment of fighting, and once they come into consciousness, my cat did that to me. They could possibly bite or scratch you.
Whatever we collect through our 50 to 60 drop-off locations throughout the state, it comes to Operation Blankets of Love.
Operation Blankets of Love is an animal welfare and emergency relief nonprofit organization dedicated to improving the chances for adoption and survival of homeless animals.
Well, we take in thousands of animals. We take them in 24/7. It's a scary environment for the animals when they come in. It might be a cold and sterile cage they're first put in, or a concrete kennel. It's not soft, it's not warm. They sit in the corner and they shake and they're scared. You might try to approach them, they may try to bite, but all it takes is a nice, warm, soft, fluffy blanket. They can hide in that, they can lay on that, and suddenly they're an adoptable, happy dog who's comfortable. They can get involved by donating. They can help Operation Blankets of Love by bringing blankets and toys and treats in, or cash donations. They're on call 24/7. They come to the shelters whenever we need them, and that costs money for your van, for gas, for maintenance, and so it's important that cash is good too if you can't do blanket drives.
We got several emails that the West Side is very low on blankets and towels. We started with blankets, and now we even distribute food, pet beds, and medical supplies to homeless animals in shelters, rescue groups, and homeless animal caregivers.
How y'all doing? My name is Sebastian. I'm with Shorey's Rescue and Operation Blankets of Love.
I'm Steve.
Steve, nice to meet you.
Spike.
Spike? A leash right here for you. We got this dog bed for you, buddy. Here you go.
Thank you for this, really.
Hey, you're welcome. Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Then I was on the street for a couple of months, and then I found out about this place, which is the only place where they'll take dogs in a homeless shelter. A lot of these homeless folks, they got rid of their dogs before they hit the streets, and I wasn't willing to give up mine.
Is there anything else I can get you?
You know, this is like a real blessing. This is something that's not always provided to us. So I'm really grateful about this. Thank you.
Thanks for all your generous donations of new and gently used pet supplies.
To make a cash donation or find a donation drop box in your area, please visit operationblanketsoflove.org and help us save a life today.
Okay, so I understand that you're familiar with remedies, Robin, like flower
Yes.
essences and whatnot. Okay,
Yes.
so what I'll ask you to do is after we finish with this, is you can send me the remedies that you have, and we can come up with kind of some concoctions and some formulas. But the reason why I like to start working with the remedies is it kind of gets the brain calmed down. They're all natural people. I mean, this is not medicine by any chance. Flower remedies are great, topical, but there's some products that are systemic, like I like Calms by Highlands and things like that, because that's going to start to make this process easier for them, so they're not so agitated, and then they'll be more receptive to the behavior, because
Okay.
the resource guarding is a little bit hard and the remedies help them. Okay, I don't see this as being dangerous. That's one of the things I'm pretty good at. It's just going to take them a little time because they're both vying for alpha status. So I think we're okay with that. Any of the other crew you want to talk about?
I would like to talk about Patrick and Baby.
And he just heard he's zero over the camera there. Okay, so what's going on with Patrick and Baby?
Well, so there's a dynamic amongst the four.
Wait.
With the 3 cats and the dog. So what happens is Marshall is afraid of Frederick.
Okay, so Marshall's afraid of Frederick.
Patrick is afraid of Marshall.
Marshall.
Frederick is afraid of Patrick.
Okay.
And Baby just kind of,
Okay, stop right there. Okay, this is way too much fear stuff here because, okay, so this is now that in my head now, this is just too much of a chain reaction, and I don't think it's necessarily the other animals. I think it's primarily, and correct me if I'm wrong, they're feeding off the dynamic of Frederick and Marshall.
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah, because what kind of an example can I use? Okay, let's say, for example, everyone's being quiet and then 2 kids kind of start getting rambunctious. Everyone else gets agitated and wanted to jump in the, like a pig pile. Okay, and animals are much more intuitive and they sense that energy, so it's kind of like, well, they're having an issue, they're scared, and I'm scared. And so what happens is it just kind of gets spread out.
Well, what happens is Baby will come and get right in the middle of any conflict.
Is she like the conflict resolution person?
It really seems that way. She really tries to calm everything down. She doesn't like it when everybody gets into, so she'll get right in the middle of it and it seems like she's trying to break it up.
Okay. Because I see her going like this, like she's like throwing a white towel, break it up.
Exactly.
Okay. But the thing is, I don't know if any of you ever had that role in your family of the peacekeeper. I was a peacekeeper. My family is. The peacekeeper in this kind of situation is there's too many people, too many beings. So as much as I commend her for trying to do that, I think she's kind of fighting a losing battle. But she gives it a really good try.
She does.
But
Exactly.
in the meantime, she's sacrificing, and that's why I think at times she might pull back. Because it's like, this house is crazy. I went out there. I tried to do an intervention. Look at what happened. I'm going to give up, and I'm going to go back up. But then she comes going in. But what happens with the peacemaker is they eventually get worn out, and that's not her responsibility. But in my mind, I'm saying I appreciate and I respect that you want to be the peacemaker. That is not your responsibility. It's the responsibility of your moms. Okay? But again, remedies go to everybody. It's not just with the women, because this is what I feel like, and if the humans are open to it, I also recommend they take the remedies, because what that does is it puts everybody on the same energetic playing field. It's like you're saying to your children, look, mom's taking this, we support you. And so, well, especially in the first 7 days, which I'll go into more detail in my follow-up, I always send follow-up emails. I think it's helpful for people to kind of keep a diary. But it's just kind of, a show of support. It starts, you all know about energy. Energy collects.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever sage your house to blow out the
We have.
energy. But the thing with the remedies and all this is, animals should not have to play roles such as, I'm the bully, I'm the peacekeeper, I'm the this, I'm the that. The reason I want to do this is because I just want the dogs to be the dogs and the cats to be the cats. They could have little tiffs here and there, but you see what I'm saying? Okay, thank you. There's a book by John Bradshaw called The Family, and this will give you
I know about
the
that.
perfect example. When you have a wind chime and there's no wind, everything's calm. But what happens when the wind hits one part of the chime? Bang, 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 bang. And that is what's happening in your house.
Well, they're a family,
That's what I'm saying.
and they're having
Human or
yeah.
four-legged, it's a family. So that's why I got that image of, I love that example, is as long as there's no breeze, the wind chime is calm.
Right.
But one starts, and that's what I'm talking about with vocal tones, with yelling. In their mind, you're adding fuel to the fire. It's firm, but it's low. Okay? But that's what's happening, is there's so much stuff going on energetically. Everyone's feeding off everybody right now.
I do believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think it has anything to do with this. You guys have pretty mellow energy. I don't think it's a lot to do with you, but I do always, and this is any human I talk to, is we have to be cautious of the tone of voice. So I'll go into more detail. I need more of that, but just from what I can feel in the house, because that's one thing I'm pretty good at, as I said, is none of this is anything that I don't think can't be worked out. And because you guys are such avid rescuers and you're used to this, and I commend you for that, it's just going to take a little time and practice. But I think once everyone kind of gets to the hang of the smell and the remedies, we're going to get a little bit of this. Frederick's going to say, I don't need to grab Marshall's food. And then baby's going to say, I don't need to be the peacekeeper. So once we start getting everybody into knowing that they just can be the cat, be the dog, be the family, things will start to settle down.
I think of it as like a blended family, when you bring two families together.
It's exactly a blended family,
Yeah.
yeah. And like for example, I've never had to actually pick out a cat. A cat came to me, and she was really, really mean. And at first I thought, I don't think I want to keep her. And I thought, well, if I can't put up with, she was a biter, scratch, blood, everything.
Just like Frederick.
I thought if I can't do it, she doesn't have a chance with anybody else.
Right.
So it was, I don't scratch you, you don't scratch me. Hands are for holding, not for hitting. I don't bite you, you don't bite me. So I tell people, even though you don't hear your animals like a communicator, they go by tone of voice, and they go by body language. So that's really why I work so hard with the behavioral issues, is because if the animals are behaving and they're happy, the humans are happy. If not, like you said, you start yelling, and then everything just goes like this. It's this big, massive chaos.
Hi, my name is Ray Hayes, and this is Madeline. I'm here to tell you about a wonderful nonprofit rescue organization right here in Pasadena, California, the Rainbow Rescue. The Rainbow Rescue was started 3 years ago to help all sorts of animals in need, whether from injury, abuse, neglect, or simply to assist with a vet bill, or assist those that are homeless with their pets. The Rainbow Rescue also assists other nonprofit organizations, either in person, by adopting, or by making financial contributions. To learn more about us and how you can help, visit us at therainbowrescue.org or on Facebook. Thank you very much for your support.
So that's really why I work so hard on behavioral issues, is because I want the dogs to be dogs, the cats to be cats, and just live a happy life. And it's just like like you said, you called it a blended family. When the animals aren't happy, and let's say even though we try to be really patient and our animals are acting up, we get irritated. So it becomes a cycle. But I've seen a few of the animals walking around. They're off camera, but it's nothing that we can't work out. They just all need to understand that they don't need to have roles. Animals don't need to have roles. It's just like children shouldn't be parents. Children shouldn't be peacekeepers. Animals just need to be animals and play. So I think that's totally resolvable.
Great.
How do you feel about that?
Great.
Well, I would love it because what it does is it's stressful for us.
That's what I'm talking about. And
And-
that's why I asked the humans to do the remedies too.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
because, we get stressed, and then I believe our stressed energy feeds their stressed energy, and it gets ramped up to a level it doesn't need to be.
Yes, what I'm saying is animals are particularly intuitive to energy.
Oh, yeah.
Is even if you are trying to pretend like you're not stressed, that's why I talk about body language. It can come off as like appearing as threatening or aggressive. When you're thinking, I'm just looking really chill, and they're like, oh no, she's really upset. So you can do what they do with humans. Okay, I'm gonna take a 5, Kelly, watch the kids. I'm gonna go take a walk outside, burn off some energy. So this is a process, and it's really gonna be just fine. And for you and everybody else is I do follow up. I'm gonna be sending you emails. We kind of keep a checklist. We see what happens over the next 7 days, and we see what's working, what's not working. And when we find what's working, we focus in on that. And if there's something that's not working, we pull back.
Okay.
But generally speaking, because I can talk to animals, at my house too, is generally speaking, if everything starts to fall into place, it happens pretty quickly, but the 7 days is the gauge.
All right.
So I really want to thank you for having me into your house. It's always an honor when people trust me to talk to your animals, and really so much.
Very
Thank
nice
you
to meet
for
you.
rescuing all these animals and taking such good care of them.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, really nice to meet you. All right, thanks everybody. I'll be in touch by email, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about how the session went?
I think it was amazing. I'm very hopeful that things are going to get better and that we're going to have a much more peaceful home. Karen did a fabulous job in picking up on the dynamics that have been going on, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy.
I totally agree. I think Karen's extremely talented and has a real gift, and she pretty much nailed everybody to a T.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited and hopeful that we can improve the harmony in our home.